Hello, it's Brendan, the host of the Fusion Podcast. Once again this week, I wanted to spotlight some of the great work that Nia is doing. Nia Anderson is one of our podcast team. She has a ministry called Be You for a Purpose, and information about that ministry can be found at beyoupurpose.com. 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 But some of her greatest work, now that's her website, and you can see all her blogs and all that, but she's also doing great work on the gram. For those that don't know, that's Instagram. So if you go to Instagram, she is at Be You for a Purpose on Instagram. And for those who don't have Instagram, you could still see her page by going to instagram.com/Be You for a Purpose. And you will see her profile. And one of the great things about her profile is that she has a link that you can click where links to all of her stuff is there. Links to her Facebook page, links to her podcast, links to all the stuff that she does is listed there. And that's what I want to talk about. On Instagram, she does a lot of live videos. But in particular, she has recently started something that she calls a purpose spotlight. And the point of a purpose spotlight is where she sheds light on other people who are doing other things for the Lord. And in one of her recent episodes, she spotlighted our very own Anthony Diaz. So 2 members of our podcast team, both of whom are doing great things, and she was able to spotlight it. She does the video on Instagram, but then she will also later post it on her podcast page as well. But I decided I wanted to post it here because I found it to be a great interview. Now, it isn't just Anthony. She actually, in this episode, interviews 2 people, and I think they are both well worthy of spotlighting. The first is a gentleman named Phil Wallace. He's from out of Illinois. He's an author, a mentor, consultant, and he has a ministry there called Learn to Sow. Learn the number 2, sow. And in fact, I would suggest the best way to hook up and see what he's doing is to go to Facebook to see him. Facebook.com/learn, LEARN, the number 2, sow is SOW. And you can see all the great stuff that he's doing there, and you can collect the links to various things that he's doing. So she begins by interviewing him for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then she spends the rest of the time interviewing Anthony. So I'm very proud of both of these young people and the work that they are doing, and I'm happy to spotlight it and have you hear it and connect with them as well.
Hello. Thank you for joining me again here. We actually did this episode this past Monday, but technology didn't really work in my favor. But we're doing it again, bringing back the same 2 awesome guys. So if you missed it this past Monday, please turn the volume up because it's going to be amazing. There's some really awesome guys who are here. And so I have Anthony, he's from Jersey, and you'll hear some from him. And we also have Phil, and we're going to bring Phil up first, like we did last time. He's going to share what he's doing, and I'm super excited about him. I've known him for some years now, and he is phenomenal. So we're going to bring him in first, get this party started. And hopefully, you get the chance to learn, to meet some people, to connect and see if he's in your area, and move from there. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Phil. Let's see. Did it work? I think so. Woo-hoo! All right.
There we go. How are you?
Oh, I can't hear you. Are you muted? Am I muted?
Am I muted?
Am I muted? I don't think
No,
so.
I can hear you.
Let me see. Hold on.
No.
Say something. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you're like super low. I heard like a little thing, so you're like super low.
So I got to be louder? Is that?
Oh, she said we can hear both. Okay, great. So, all right. So that's weird. Do I need to turn my volume up?
Nah, you sound good on my end.
Oh, okay. I needed to turn my volume up. Yay, technology. Okay. So, so I'm so happy. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me again. And so we're going to get this started again. So go ahead, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and who the heck is Phil Wallace?
Okay, Phil Wallace. I am from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Born in Texas, lived in Florida, lived in Georgia. Claim Illinois though the most. Played basketball growing up, played basketball in college. Now I get a chance to coach and mentor kids. Do training. I do a number of businesses with youth mentorship and helping out mothers in the community, as well as some consulting. I'll say endeavors. I'll say it that way. And then I'm just passionate about helping people, man. Passionate about helping people.
Awesome. So I heard mentorship, I heard coaching, I heard moms. And so you do a lot of in-person type of like making impact, like making relationships and things like that. And so just looking back on that, how did you know that that's the avenue that you wanted to pursue as of, reaching people literally like face to face?
I always wanted to entertain. I used to tell my mom that I was God put me on earth to make people laugh. I didn't realize it was to connect people as well and then help them out in other areas of life as well. And then so I just got that addiction that comes from helping and living a life outside of just yourself, right? I feel like you get tired when you just focus on you, but you run out, it's endless. You're getting a chance to help other people for a bigger purpose. So like once that happened and we started seeing that lives were being impacted, that rush of it, right? And just that's when I knew I could spend the rest of my life changing lives and be completely happy with that.
Yeah, so I know you have several brands that are going on right now, and so can you share what they are again for people who weren't here on Monday? Share them again and just kind of explain what you have going on.
Yes, ma'am. So we have Lelos, which is the clothing company that we do to raise money for different events or different situations. We had one for a person who passed. We help raise money for the funeral. We do a lot for more so for the youth. Live a life of significance. LALOS, and so Lelos. So we do that to be able to raise money to help make a difference in the community. We have Learn to Sew. It's a platform for authors, writers, motivational speakers to get their message out to an audience who's looking for that type of message and not be on page 1,000 on any other, on Audible or anything like that. And we use the profits of that kind of same concept to be able to pay for ministries and charities and local events, things like that to happen with that. Miracles for Moms has now merged with North Star Foundation up here in Illinois. So it's going to be a platform to be able to help with staffing, financial needs, grocery needs, childcare, all of that. So we're getting traction on that. And then just the Coach Phil, the FAM, Foundation of Athletic Mentorship. So that's what we use the coaching vessel to be able to get the ear of the youth. And while we have the ear, we teach them, we have them read motivational books and self-help books and different workshops and things of that nature. So there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Amazing. Now, what you didn't share last time, but something that I know is that you are also an author. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'm an author. I did not bring that up last time. Blessed that it comes full circle, right? I remember when you were walking me through the process of writing that book, and I was like, I got an idea, and I think this, and you were like, okay. I did write a book, Around the World with God in 45 Minutes. That did win an award on Amazon, so I got Editor's Choice 2014. That has been fun. Surviving the Hunt, another book, Christian book, and then Starting Your Business, right? Looking at yourself like a company. How would you manage You Inc.? And just so like a look at yourself and look at your network like a company. And so I have those all on Learn to Sew right now. I'm excited to allow other people to put their work on there as well, though. But
amazing. So really quick then, how can we get those books? Where can people go purchase those books?
LearnToSew.com. That's LEARN, the number 2, sew, SOW. What we do is for all the books that are on there that are sold, the author gets most of the profit. 10% goes to charities, ministries, and be able to help people in the community. So I ask if you are going to support the book, I do appreciate it. But the way to do so, please, is go to Learn to Sew, so that way we can make a difference with the profits too.
Awesome. And so something that I did not ask last time, what are some of your short and long-term goals with these particular endeavors and pursuits with Learn to Sew, with Lelos, with the coaching, mentoring? What are some of your short-term and fairly long-term goals that people might be able to follow?
Nice. Short-term goals, I would say, let's starting with the FAM, the Foundation of Athletic Mentorship. Just being able to be in the kids' corner, right, for the kids who don't have someone else in their corner, right? And then watching the kids' transformation. If you're around youth at all, there's a lot of short answers. Yeah, no, maybe, right? We want to help them get to be able to communicate, make eye contact, be able to express who they are, right? If you don't know who you are, why should I hire you? One of the things that we talk to them about, so that way kids who aren't taught certain things get a chance to know certain things. And then with being a part of leadership of Greater McHenry County, we've been able to allow them to do internships, right? And so now this person from this neighborhood gets a chance to intern in this neighborhood. They probably wouldn't have crossed paths too often. And I just want to continue to see our kids, one, get scholarships. That's great if you learn how to play basketball. But if the only thing you learn from Coach Phil is a jump shot, I failed you. Right, so we want to be able to help them to be able to succeed once the ball stops bouncing or they stop throwing the football. With Miracles for Moms, it's merged with North Star Foundation. We're laying the groundwork there as far as the network up here to be a resource center for moms in the Northwest area. We've provided cars. We've gotten women out of abusive situations into apartment complexes. And so as that gains traction and people actually see what we're doing as far as getting groceries, helping out with bills, helping them with resumes and the connections that we made in staffing to get them properly employed in childcare, I think we'll be able to make a difference there. As far as Learn to Sew goes, I'm looking to get 100 authors on the platform as soon as possible, just because when that happens, that we have 21/6 the net. The radio station has got 7 million listeners, so we can promote you guys, right, as well, and then obviously use the financial gain of that to make a bigger impact. And I think that that's going to be able to expound in Baltimore or DC or California or Florida, right? It's cool if I get a chance to do it, but I want the team to win too, is the concept. And then Laylo is just to continue to do that and be able to help get a positive message out there, really.
That's amazing. So someone here, they're listening and it's just like, yo, like he's doing like a lot. So but that same person wants to be able to have that same type of impact, that same type of legacy, if I can use that term. And so what would your final words be to them before we wrap this up? What would your final words be to that person who does legitimately want to make a difference as you are?
Man, go get it. Go get it. Do not be deterred by limitations. I'm not a writer, right? I'm sure that if I told Nia I was writing a book, she's kind of like, what? Phil, right? But she wasn't a naysayer, but the naysayers, limitations, that how could you not know? How could I? And if I could, who do I know? Who do I need to network with? Who do I need to contact with? You'll see me write all the time. Who do I know that can? I don't claim to have all superpowers, but I find those who do to help the project happens. The world needs your voice. The world needs your passion. The world needs your product, right? Go get it. Go make it. I will say that one of the things we talk about is don't complain about things you aren't willing to change. Right? All the things that I listed are things that I did not like, but I wanted to make a change or a difference in. So I did something about it. We at least got the ball rolling. And as you take the first step, God will show you the rest of the staircase.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I'm sure someone needed it, just scared to take, they see this whole thing and say, but it's just that one step at a time, just go do something. Even if it blows up in your face, just go do it.
Man, at least you'll have a funny story, even if you do mess up. Like if I trip up the stairs right now, Nia will bust out laughing at me. That's how
And you know me, I love a good story.
Man,
So thank you so much for joining us. But of course, before we go, can you just let people know who you are and obviously who you are, but also how they can connect with you?
Absolutely. They can find me Learn to Sew on Instagram, Learn to Sew on Facebook. They can find me Phil Wallace on Facebook. They can find Laylo's Clothing, LALOS, on Facebook, 21/6 the net. You can also look the Bridge Community. That's the radio show that we do about bridging civil tension in the community. Miracles for Moms is the Facebook page. It will merge with the North Star Foundation. Other than that, if you can't find me through those sources, find Nia. She knows how to find me. I appreciate you so much for the opportunity. I'm proud of everything that you're doing. You're changing lives, man. It's impressive to watch. Thank
you. It's been a joy and a pleasure. Thank you, Phil, so much for joining us, and can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much, Nia. All right.
So as you can see, we're starting season 2 off with the boom. And so this next person, thank you, Phil, so much for coming. You were a true blessing. So next up, I have Anthony, who's coming from Jersey, and I'm super excited, and I can't wait for him to tell you guys, because he was here last on Monday as well. But we had to redo it, but that's okay. So let me find him. and then you can get started.
Hello.
How are
This
you?
ring light is just too bright. It's too bright in my face, but I never use it. So I'm like, I need to use it because I have it.
I'm glad you do. See all the color of your face is great. And every curl that's in your fro. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So thank you for joining me again. I just want to make sure that everybody really just gets the opportunity to hear what you're doing. You're doing some amazing, amazing things. So before we get into exactly what you're doing, just tell us a little bit about yourself and who in the world is Anthony Diaz.
So my name is Anthony Diaz. I'm the co-founder of the Newark Water Coalition. I recently ran for mayor, but I dropped out before the petition process. Usually just local organizer, and I just try to do a lot of environmental justice work now.
Okay. Now, you didn't share this, but I'm gonna throw it out there just because I love my Latino community. So can you just tell everybody where you're from?
So I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I'm half Black, half El Salvadorian.
El Salvadorian. Pupusas are amazing, by the way. If you've never had pupusas, like the authentic ones, like El Salvadorians made it, they are amazing. So thank you. Tell your mama thank you. But you mentioned something about you running for mayor. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, yeah, what happened with that?
So I was running for political office, mayor in the city of Newark, New Jersey. My politics are very left. I would say, socialist, very, very, everybody needs to eat, everything is free, that kind of thing. So one of the reasons why I ran for office was I wanted to talk about these ideas on that platform and on that stage. Now, canvassing, what I realized is that a lot of our people don't have hope. Black and brown people are just disenchanted with the system. They don't believe anybody. They don't believe anybody's going to save them. They don't believe in any politician, anything like that. So you're here, I'm canvassing, I'm hearing this, and I'm like, wow, even if a viable candidate were to run for office, like, our people are so broken that they wouldn't even vote for anybody. They're frustrated with everything. And I think it's like the war, COVID, the pandemic, the lockdowns, the housing issues, the eviction rates, the lack of food, resources, gas. So everybody's hit with all of this stuff. And, what I looked when I was looking at the political plane, I was just like, you know what? Where do I best want to put my energy? Do I want to run for office? Do I want to put all my energy into this? Or, hey, I'm doing this work with the Newark Water Coalition. We have distributions. We're doing community stuff. Like, is that where I should be putting my efforts? And then when I looked at everything, it was like, yeah, that's what I really want to do. And then when I understood from the political process, it takes a machine to beat a machine. But I don't want to build a machine. What I want to build is community. So that's why another reason where I was just like, this just doesn't make sense for me to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I think it just really hones in on the idea of how some people get distracted, because as they're becoming who they're supposed to be, as they are growing as leaders and people, and they, have these gifts and, they're just growing and building, opportunities naturally come knocking at your door. But that doesn't mean you have to take on that opportunity just because it was presented to you. I mean, some people, I'm pretty sure, and they told you, like, you're crazy for not running for mayor. But it's like, yeah, no, but that's going to be a distraction. And I'm not going to be able to do exactly what I want to do for reasons, obviously, that you just named. So thank you so much for sharing all that. And so with what you're doing, can you share a little about what it is that you're doing, the Water Coalition, all of that, and what some of the short and long-term goals are for that project?
Yeah, so the first thing is Newark, New Jersey faced a lead crisis similar to Flint. Our lead crisis was a lot different, but we still had high levels. At its height, to put it in perspective, it was 52 parts per billion when the federal standard is 15. The CDC says there's no safe level of lead. So our organization was birthed out of that. We started giving out water distributions, and now we're working with food. We started community pantries, 2 community refrigerators. We do about 3 distributions a week. We're about to open up an office so we can give out water full time, 4 to 5 days out of the week. And it's really just kind of servicing the community of Newark. And our biggest project is probably our organizing school, which hopefully we're going to launch this year. I think our long-term goals is trying to move the political consciousness and like really kind of, I want to say pour into the younger generation. What I saw out of George Floyd is a lot of people like became activists, a lot of people became organizers, but they take that energy and it's usually co-opted and funneled into places or organizations that don't do real work in the community. I feel like, there's so much money being poured into these organizations, and it's like, why are we still facing the situations that we are? Why is the environment the way it is? Why are Black and brown cities still on the short end of the receiving stick when they get millions of dollars poured into them? So we're creating an alternative institution, like a counter institution. We are folks that just believe in everything that we're getting and pouring it back into the community. But what I looked at is like in terms of education, like we need to be educating our younger generation in ways that really benefit like us. Growing your own food. What does it mean to really organize your community? Do you talk to your neighbors? How do you build base? How do you build power? And so those are the things that like the NWC is working on for the future.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So where do we even start with that? Because it seems like, so much. So what is something that someone can immediately do to aid, if I can use that term, with what you guys are doing, or simply support, apart from, the Instagram and Facebook, for people who are either like who are in Jersey, like I see Carol and she's in Jersey. So people that are in Jersey, how can they support you and see and help you guys to grow that impact?
One of the first things that I always tell people to do is share their information. It does nothing to hop on an IG Live or a Facebook or some kind of event and you don't do anything with that information. Folks have different networks, and I think they need to utilize them a lot more. We'd be surprised who we know within our network. So I think first and foremost is share their information. Now, if you want to volunteer, I will always take people's time rather than their money because we need help doing everything, whether it's knocking on doors, copies, graphics, answering emails, putting curriculum together. So one of the things that, when people come to me and they're like, hey, I really want to help the Water Coalition. The first thing I ask them always is like, well, what are you really passionate about? Because it's one thing for you to come to my organization and say like, hey, I really want to help out, but I'm going to offer you a way that doesn't really benefit you in a way. So I want to find out how can we bring about your passion through the resources of the organization. If you like to paint, I will find something for you to paint. If you like to do music, we will plan an event around music. And those are the things that I like to build up in people. What I realize is that the organization is so much about like who we're servicing, like the very, community. But now it's become more about like our volunteers and our inside network and our inside community and how we relate to one another and what it really means to have a safe space for just our volunteers and community members.
That's super, super, super dope. So what people may not know, where in the world is this water coming from that you're giving out? Where is this water coming from?
So we still use Newark's water. We have these $50,000 filtration systems that were donated to us by an organization called 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization created by Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, and Drew Fitzgerald. So we had received one of these machines last year, and because of the work that we were doing, they gave us 3 more. So now we have 3 locations in the city of Newark where we have these big filtration systems hooked up to, and we give out water to anybody. Now, in the second part of this year, we linked up with another organization because I'm all about self-sustainability. And what we're doing is we've created a manual on how to build these units, and we want to build those units for other organizations, not only in New Jersey, but across the country. So hopefully in the second half of this year, we're going to be putting water boxes all over the state of New Jersey.
That's amazing. It's just a testament of when you do the work, God provides. It's nothing else. What do they say? For every vision comes provision. So that's just amazing testament, and just the connections that you were able to create. And I mean, that's just a whole different level of resources, you know, and network, you know. And the question in the chat, well, I see all the chat happening, and Phil just asked, how much are these boxes? And you said they're 50 grand, right? Each box?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's saying, you know, so yeah, so for investors and things like that, they're 50 grand for each box. So so just keep that in mind. So to begin to close this out, what is your message for those who are listening, you know, with what your mission is for Newark, for what your mission is for the Water Coalition? What do you want to share with the people?
I think the first and foremost is that we don't have the time. We don't have the time, and people need to move with a sense of urgency. And what I mean by that is that, you know, we have come too far in a society as Black and brown folks to be just this far. Be you for a purpose. And I love that phrase. I've been thinking about that, you know, ever since Monday or Tuesday, wherever I was on. And it's like, that's what we're on this planet for you to find your purpose. And it is not to work a 9-to-5 job. It is not to, you know, build up someone else's corporation or business. It is for you to find out what God has called you to put, you know, be on this planet.
I would throw it at you right now. I just want you
And so, you know, 3 years ago, I would have never expected my life to be this. I would have never expected to be doing water work. I never would have expected to leave my full-time job as a IT director of a charter school to do environmental justice. I had no money in my savings account. I ended up moving in my aunt's basement, and 3 years later, we're opening up an office, and this is what I do full time. I quit even my consulting work. I've decided to put all of that to rest to really focus on the Newark Water Coalition, because this is what makes me happy.
Last question, and then we're gonna give you your contact information and how people can connect with you. But this last question, with what you've given up, you know, from the mayorship to what you just said with consulting and things like that, to be where you are now, would you change a thing?
No, I mean, because here's the thing is that all of my highs and lows make me who I am today. They make me the man who I am today. And I couldn't, you know, experience the beautiful taste of success and happiness without, you know, tasting the bitterness and of defeat and sadness. So while I've learned some very, very hard lessons, because I'm one of those people that has to touch the pot to know that it's hot, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be who I am, and I love who I am, and I think I'm the best version of myself thus far.
All right, so thank you so much. So as we're closing this out, can you please let people know how they can get connected with you, how they can follow and support what you're doing at this point in New Jersey, but obviously it's going to spread all throughout the country. So go ahead.
Yes, please visit our website, www.newarkwatercoalition.com. Our Instagram, where we're most active at, is cleanwater4 Newark. And then if you want my personal contact information, the best way to get me is Newark Politics on Instagram. I would try to help as many people as possible. I love sharing the knowledge, and that's how we're really going to win liberation.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was a true joy speaking with you again, and we're going to get this up and make sure that more people can connect with you. So thank you, Anthony, and we're watching and supporting everything that you do. Thank you. So that was episode 1 for Purpose Spotlight. Woo! And so all their information I'm going to put in the comments, you know, once the video is over, so that way you can see it, you can follow them, you can support them, you can donate, you can give your content, all those different types of things. So between Jersey, between Florida, Georgia, and Illinois, world changers, you know. So again, my name is Nia. I'm a founder of Be You for a Purpose. This has been the Purpose Spotlight. If you are interested in being spotlighted, please DM me, or someone that you know, please DM me. And obviously as well, the podcast releases this past Monday, release the episode. So please go see that on Anchor. It's called Be for Purpose, the podcast, where you can hear the interviews from last season if you don't get a chance to watch them on Instagram. Again, this is Nia. Thank you for joining me today. You are my joy. You are my honor. You are my pleasure. And I'll see you next week.